Tiebreakers still going on with the stream. Me and Aggro are here to bring you the next game and maybe the next game after that if it keeps going. Neilmah managed to get the win against Cope.
A very important win. Yeah, Neilmah, they only need one more and they're guaranteed their spot in the SPL.
And they're about to take on Noble as well. Noble have the chance to make sure that Destiny's in their own hands here by making sure Neilmah don't end up winning this game.
Yeah, Noble needs to win. Like I said, if Neilmah are able to find one more win, they're the ones going into the SPL at the final spot here in Relegations. But if Noble are able to find the W, then they have their chance to play up against Cope is the problem. And then if they are able to win that game, then they go. And then there's also the scenario, let's just do this next
Win two games, okay?
Yeah.
Just win 2 games and let's all go home or go to bed or do something other than Smite. We love
really,
Smite,
I don't know. I was literally playing Smite during the break.
I'm feeding too. I saw some of that.
A little bit of, a little bit of everything.
So Noble's going to ban out Giannis as the first ban up against Neilmah. Clearly, we saw exactly how good Veneneu can be with that. It's 2 games I've seen so far that he's made very big impacts with those space and times, with his positioning. Very smart, banning away. Same with Thoth.
Yeah, no problem at all with that ban for either side. The Thoth ban, even though Thoth hasn't been played a whole lot, and even when he has been played, I think he's only won one game, and that was with Whirlwind in memory of Gabe. That was up against Noble. Just taking that away, so strong in that mid lane.
Surprised by the Cabrakan ban here, but this is what happens when teams play against each other consistently. Get to see picks and bans. It's almost like a mini meta is developing here between teams. Take it away from Kiki.
Exactly. Kiki has looked so good on this Cabrakan. Early on, he just has that wave clear with the Tremors, and he's got that poke in lane as well. Zeus going to be the ban there for Neilmah, taking that away from MLC Stealth. Again, a god that Stealth has played time and time again so far today.
Yeah, very true indeed. Noble have a lot of options to themselves now. Sylvanus, probably the priority available, but Izanami is up on that list too. She's not had the greatest of performances overall today, to be honest.
No. A little hit or miss. I mean, Panicat had a great game on Izanami earlier today, but overall, I think that teams have thought, okay, we've drafted Izanami, so we can just leave her on an island over in dual lane. But that's really not the case. And that's exactly what I want to see Noble do in this game, by the way, is give a little bit more support to Wowy in that early game. He's been so far behind every time because the team has just kind of left him. Chala's been spending the majority of the time over in the solo lane, and that's allowed the buffs on the left-hand side to get stolen away. Wowy has really paid the price because of it.
Well, Neilmah's going to have a hard, long think about where that second pick's going to go, rather. They've picked up Sylvanus. It will be Thanatos alongside it, which detracts from picking the Khepri, which we always talk about, although Khepri's not been too dominant today overall.
No, the Geb has really been the pick for Wubbn. I'd expect that's where he's going to go here. Serqet going to be the pick for Chapo. Shuts down that healing against the Sylvanus. Chapo very, very comfortable on this god. I like this selection.
It also shuts down some of the healing Thanatos has as well. If you do get the ultimate off, if you death side, you don't get the heal.
I mean, we saw Final K just tear through Verizial with Serqet into the Thanatos matchup. So clearly it's not a bad matchup for that Serqet. Geb is going to be that selection for Wubbn again. Just looks very, very comfortable on this god. We've seen him on it time and time again.
It works well with what Noble's strategies seem to be overall here. I don't think we're going to see Izanami in the mid lane for MLC Stealth here on Noble. I'm expecting something different, but Neilmah have drafted the Scylla. They've got a very good combo here with the Amber Monster from Thanatos dunk into that. Or we've also got the setup from Sylvanus.
I mean, you've got a lot. You've got some early game in Sylvanus Thanatos. You've got your late game set up now with Scylla. You're ready to go in that terms. Now Neilmah just needs to figure out how they're going to get to that late game. What are you going to draft in that Hunter position? We've seen Cupid be the priority pick up against Izanami. Apollo banned out by Noble. That's been the other big pick. So I'm interested to see, is this going to be a Cupid ban? And if not, is that going to be Cupid locked in for DayToRemeber?
I wonder if we're going to see a Nox game out of Stealth here overall. I mean, the CC potential is pretty strong up against his composition with Poseidon and Agni banned out too.
That's true.
He does like his Nox, but I'm not sure whether or not this is the situation for it.
No, it's the new wall locked in. So good amount of early game and late game here for Noble as well, though they're a little bit more shifted towards the late game than Neilmah's composition is, especially with that Anhur being the pick for DayToRemeber. No Cupid this time, not going to be able to try and bully Izanami out of lane, but still has that bully potential, just maybe not that kill potential that Cupid does.
I really feel Noble's composition here is waiting for the 15-minute mark. Get through the first 15 minutes and establish how the game is going. Neilmah, though, they need that 15 minutes to really start to get things going for themselves, to stand them in good stead going into mid-game.
Yeah, the matchup for me is going to be Uzzy versus Kiki in the solo lane. I think that Uzzy has performed very, very well throughout the day. Chapo's been a little bit hit or miss, as has Stealth. the duo lane as well for Noble. I think Uzzy's been the most consistent performer so far on Noble today. So it's going to be interesting. How well is he going to be able to stand up on that right-hand side and handle Kiki in lane?
Well, let's see how this one starts off, because keep an eye on ward placements already. Neilmah have put down a ward at the right-hand Harpies here, just to make sure they can keep vision of potentially what exactly is happening here, which is Uzzy and Wubbn as well, continuing to pressure on. They're just going to drop a ward themselves, though, and look to fall back.
And that's just getting those wards out, making sure there's no crazy starts or anything like that in the jungle. We've seen Neilmah try and do these proxy starts. Nothing like that. It's just a regular old Smite in this very, very important game.
We say regular old Smite season 4 Smite, that's for sure. Regular Relegations, these two teams trying to compete to get in there. Neilmah one win away from making it back into the Pro League. Noble, they're going to need 2 back-to-back, and they have to get through Neilmah first. And starting this off, Chapo has begun on Serqet with a blink to start things off.
Wow, no purification, though. There isn't a whole lot of hard CC. Tier of Fearless is the big one, I guess, as well as the stun out of Thanatos. Those are the only ones. I can understand why the blink start here.
Yeah, a lot of pressure there early on, onto a little bit onto NeiruMah, but that's fine because Izanami can just continue to clear the wave. The purple buff still going to be taken away here on this right-hand side. Absolutely no pressure from Noble. This has pretty much been what they've been doing to Wowy all day long. Wowy's just been left alone.
Basically, yeah, every single time. This purple buff gonna head right on over to NeiruMah. Wowy's gonna try and get a little bit of poke in, but against 2 level 2 characters, one lonely level 1 hunter is not gonna do a whole lot.
Not for the time being, but at least he's got semi-decent wave clear play in his Izanami, if not very strong wave clear, I should say. Obviously, those auto attacks penetrating through the minions as well as the spectral clear. It's going to be very, very useful to clear the wave without losing too many creeps to the tower.
Yeah, he's not going to lose a whole lot of creeps to tower, but he's going to lose a whole lot of experience and gold in the jungle, and that's the big thing. I mean, he has gone for this boot start, so he's got a decent amount of health potions ticking. He's going to be able to use that Death's Toll sustain. Luckily for Noble, they haven't lost their red buff quite yet. They may have a chance to snag that up for themselves.
It's a cagey situation right now here for Noble because they realize that Neilmah are just 1 win away. However, Neilmah, they're going to be cagey too, because if they realize if they give Noble the win here, that means that the destiny's out of their hands and more in the hands of Noble.
Exactly, yeah. And if Noble's able to find this win, then Neilmah's going to need to rely on Cope as a problem to get the victory up against Noble in the next game and keep them out of the Pro League to get us into, I don't even know what that would be, a coin flip bracket scenario.
Yeah.
Craziness.
We can't go all night, so hang on a second. Chapo in the mid lane, pressured onto Veneneu, forcing the beads early on. Sentinel comes into play to get it back to safety, but half health taken away already. He does have a potion to sustain, though, if he chooses to stick around.
And that's a win for Chapo there, using the shorter cooldown on the Relic, as well as just giving that viability for Wubbn to make a play and CC chain Veneneu to death.
Making a play, Uzzy in the solo lane here, really showing up for the console side of things. Obviously, a lot of disrespect towards the console players. Everyone expects them not to be as good overall just because they play on console, but Uzzy's standing with some of the best players in the solo lane. We'll see if this continues. Kiki's kind of, not necessarily new, but back to the solo lane, so he's back to learning as well.
Exactly, and I mean, if anyone has any sort of, doubt about the console players, look at Cynoshare's performance today. He absolutely killed it all day long. Yes, he's on a great team with a lot of great players, but he absolutely pulled his weight in every single one of those games.
Well, Elementals looking to be started up here by both teams. Noble in a better position. Chapo going to clean this one up, and Uzzy's there to collect some of that experience as well. Chapo's just off level 5 right about now, and when he gets to the right-hand side here, he should be in a better spot. He's actually looking for Kiki already.
But he's not level 5 quite yet. It might be enough damage, though. The Bluestone needs one more tick, but they're not going to be able to find it. But the new ult, that should do it.
Rest in pepperonis, KikiSoCheeky stealth. Just giving an answer back to a former pro player himself as well.
You know all those moments where someone gets away with 1 HP and you're like, where's the NeiruMah ult? That time, they had the NeiruMah ult.
You also saw Chapo hit level 5 after that wave as well. Remember, he was sat there going, damn it, I wish we had a, oh wait, we do! NeiruMah ult comes through in time. First blood to Stealth in the mid lane, and that's great for Stealth, honestly, as well, because he is a NeiruMah who kind of just sits back and farms in the early game, has to give pressure up in the lane for the most part for safety purposes, but then transition into the later stage of the game. So that first blood gold will be really beneficial.
Very much so, just getting him a little bit closer to those later stages of the game. Maybe not quite as impactful as Scylla in the late game as a mage, but certainly more tilted towards that angle as far as the early mid mid-game scale. You really expect your NeiruMah to do the bulk of her damage towards the later stages.
Love this little play from Neilmah here, just zoning them away from the experience again, because they saw Thanatos on the left-hand side, Noble. So they're like, is he still in this jungle? Meanwhile, though, Chapo just going to say hello to Kiki for a second time this game.
This has been Chapo's MO all game long. Camp solo lane, taking a page out of his former teammate Weekend's book, just camping the solo lane, getting a solo laner ahead, and that's why we've seen Uzzy be so successful today.
And now they managed to steal the blue buff, but Chapo doesn't care about a scythe from Skeeledon. Instead, going aggressive with the support of Uzzy. Speed buff spawns right in the face, but Skeely's forced to beat, forced to jump to the air, but the dart damage, is it enough?
NeiruMah ult again, it's done cooldown right now. Skeeledon, he's actually hovering, is gonna go back down. Uzzy and elchapoo still trying to get the speed buff. The call is to back up with the rotation of NeiruMah and Kiki respawning, but Chapo and Uzzy just throwing their weight around in that right-hand jungle early on.
And this is the Noble team that we're seeing this season. It's basically Uzzy and Chapo, they've been together for quite a while now. Then you've got Wubbn and Wowy in the duel, and they've been together. It's Stealth that's the new man to this squad to an extent, the odd man that's going to have to learn the synergies a little bit more than the rest.
Well, he's also the newest member of this team. I mean, these four were scrimming together, and then they pick up MLC Stealth pretty close, pretty recently actually, compared to when the relegation started. So, and like I've talked about it a lot, playing mid lane on a new team, very, very difficult, even for a veteran like Stealth.
Steal attempt coming out there from Neilmah and the Oracles. Noble will end up securing those. You can see Veneneu stayed mid lane to farm up, where Stealth did the rotation, the 3v2. Works out better for Noble for now, and continues to extend the gold lead to around 1,200.
And that's exactly what you want in the early game if you do have these late game carry options, and NeiruMah certainly on that list, as is the Izanami, and even Serqet in the late stages. I mean, we saw what FineOK was able to do in the mid to late game as Serqet. You get a little bit of crit online, you get ready to use those crits with Deathbane, and all of a sudden you're 100 to 0ing squishies like Veneneu.
A couple of differences between the two mid laners here, Veneneu and Stealth as well. In terms of build choices, we see the rush for boots coming out from Stealth here, getting those online for the extra penetration, whereas Veneneu's gone for raw power and mana regeneration with a Doom Orb that's already at 18 stacks.
Yeah, raw power, that's the exact word for it. He's just looking to get as much damage off as possible, even early on in this game. And that's been Neilmah's strategy, really relying on Veneneu in this middle lane to do a bulk of their damage.
Veneneu just telegraphed to Chapo that there's a ward on that right-hand side, so Chapo knows he can't go around that angle anymore. Took a bit of poke damage there, not too much to write home about though, but the mid lane still cleared as Stealth was now returning back to the mid lane.
And he's got his boots finished off. You could see he's working towards something in that uncommon sash tree. We've seen him go for Ethereal Staff consistently all day long. He's usually been rushing it right after his boots, but he went for the mana regeneration option in Lost Artifact. So this could be a Warlock sash, this could be that Ethereal Staff, or it could even be a Gem of Isolation. I'm
looking at the duo lane once again, and I like the freeze coming out from Wowy, which we've seen more and more of this season overall. But the one thing is, a lot of people were talking big about crit being strong, and granted, I understand it is strong right now, but the Hunters haven't really shown up overall today. The AD carry players, they've done what they needed to, but they've not really gone off.
For me, it's been junglers. Junglers and solo laners have been the two that have really popped off so far today in North America. Jungler specific, definitely. Yeah. It's just been Cynosure, it's been FineOK and their victory for Astral Authority. Yeah, Virizio looked great on Susano. Situations like that where the solo laners as well have been right there with the junglers.
Good little pressure from KikiSoCheeky to bully back Uzzy a little bit, but at the same time, invasion happens again this time round though. That blue buff is secured by Neilmah on that right-hand side overall. Thanatos was in the pit, picking that one up for himself, but the speed is being looked at potentially again by Noble.
Four-man grouping over here by Noble, but Uzzy is a little bit poked out, doesn't have any inherent sustain in that kit. Left side, DayToRemeber trying to contest over that, but there's a Cataclysm from Wubbn. They're looking at NeiruMah. Shell is popped. MLC Stealth is here in the jungle. The minion explosion, I think that was off. Skeeledon, he's up in the sky. He's looking at Wubbn. There it is, the execute. It's good.
But Veneneu went in deep with the crush to make sure that execute would go through, so he will pay with his life, but give Skeeledon a second kill onto Uzzy too. Stealth left on his own. Chapo says, peace, I'm out. The clay minions will stun them and slow them down and force back Neilmah again. 3-2 in favor. And that little engagement, I guess, to Neilmah.
Yeah, getting the 2 kills there, though they do lose Veneneu, who has the Doom Orb, so a little bit of a bad luck struck there for Neilmah, but overall, just getting that kill onto Uzzy, who was level 10, very, very far ahead in farm.
Hot plays in the mid lane from NeiruMah. They're going to pick up Stealth. Stealth forced to Aegis there. A little bit worried about being picked up in terms of damage, especially with him being so low on mana.
And that's scary to lose your Sanctuary in a situation like that. Up against how much burst damage Neilmah's roster has, you really feel like you need that Chapo. Oh, there's the death sight. Perfect between Kiki and Skeeledon.
He said that. I was like, hey, butter, swing. The fearless, he was still in the air as the scythe came through. Chapo had absolutely no chance. One of the reasons you also like beads on your jungler at the start, but Chapo, you know, so far with the blink, he's proven it's been useful for his team to get him off to a decent start, but Neilmah now answering back.
Sets up a kill on the right side earlier on, and then he dies because he has it later right there. So 1 for 1, basically, all even as far as.
Do you like my baseball reference, by the way?
That was good.
It's the only one I've got. So
no, the swing batter.
Yeah, that's all I know.
Yeah, I mean there are a couple more. We'll talk about them.
Maybe at some point.
Yeah, and then I'll learn some soccer ones.
You'll never learn soccer. It's pointless.
Soccer's all right.
It's the best sport in the world. There's no reason to worry about it.
I mean, that's just debatable, but it's fun and cool to watch. I like it.
We mentioned at the start of this game as well, for me, it was about 15 minutes that Noble had to make sure they were around even, but right now, they still have a very small lead in this game, if not an even game, which is fine for now. They've got to last another 5, I want to say, get themselves round towards this mid-game a little bit more to put them in good stead.
Absolutely. I mean, DayToRemeber is getting a lot of solo farm on that left-hand side, and that concerns me a little bit. Wowy is a little bit behind in levels there. You can see the XP difference is 55 in favor of Noble. Basically nothing there, but DayToRemeber does have a level lead, but MLC Stealth has his in the middle lane. Uzzy has one in the solo lane, so you've got some leads there for Noble, and like you mentioned, if they can just survive until the mid to late stages of this game, their composition will really start to shine.
But we'll see if we can get to that stage as well. I've seen that a few times today about compositions getting to the late stage. It doesn't really do so. Most of the games overall have been under 30 minutes so far. Just one so far that's gone to past the 30-minute mark overall.
Not a whole lot of rituals we're seeing quite yet. Those late game power spike consumables.
Game 1, Game 2 was it, where we saw Cook's team?
Oh,
a couple of rituals then.
I'm still like, that was still insane.
And we're in the tiebreakers, and Cope's still in it as well, so there's still a chance for them. Well, they're kind of in it if Noble can find a win here as well.
Yeah, and Uzzy, again, just doing so much work in this solo lane because of how much pressure Chapo has been putting onto him. And that's been every game so far for Noble. The problem for them is that we haven't seen Chapo at all on the left-hand side, and I've talked about it a lot, but Wowy has never, ever gotten a chance to really show his stuff in this Relegations because of how little attention all of Noble, not just Chapo, it's Wubbn isn't usually over there, Stealth isn't usually over there, no one is helping out their Hunter.
At the same time though, when I'm seeing Wowy in this lane, they are giving him hyper carry late game gods overall, and some of the opposition is against, like right now in Anhur, he's gonna fall off in the later stages a little bit more than an Izanami. So as long as he can keep that semi-even and just keep farming away, Chapo doesn't necessarily have to pressure that, but it will like slow down their opposition, I guess, if he does that.
Absolutely. I mean, that's clearly been the game plan, is just give Wowy something that he can carry with in the late game. Hey, enjoy all your solo farm. You may not get your buffs, or you might get zoned out from a couple waves here and there, but you'll still be farming by yourself the entire time, and then hopefully we can gain a lead on the right-hand side. Uzzy can rotate over, and then it would open up the Gold Fury, which would really even Wowy up. That's been the entire game plan for Noble basically all day.
I was going to say, still paused at the moment. The players just getting themselves sorted out overall. We've not seen a Gold Fury attempt from either team so far. Obviously, early game Gold Furies as well, very, very important, especially if you've got the likes of Anhur on your team.
Yes.
And you're against a NeiruMah who's got a little bit more, not as much of an offensive option of securing Gold Fury objectives.
Very, very much so. I mean, NeiruMah has very little burst as far as doing that Gold Fury goes and securing that, whereas on the other side, Veneneu on that Scylla, he has the option of using that I'm a Monster. Even the Crush or the Sikkim, both very, very good at securing that Gold Fury. So again, if Noble can hold out for a little bit and just push out the opposition, that's going to be the thing that opens up the Gold Fury.
Well, Uzzy gave us a little signal. The game's back underway there. Just a little off air. Thanks for that one, Uzzy. And now he's going to look into the jungle towards the blue buff here. Skeeledon, though, is here at the right time. Going to meet up with that little Vamana for the time being. 2-level difference between the solo lane and the jungler here. But reinforcements are on the way. Left-hand side, you were talking for Chapo, though. There's a gank attempt onto DayToRemeber going on. And Anhur's in a bit of trouble. Forced back to safety. Both relics were used.
Exactly. Only for that ultimate from Chapo as well. So really good at positioning, understanding that Wowy does need a little bit of help over there and just relieving a little bit of that pressure. Now, if Chapo comes back in the next two minutes plus, it's going to be a very easy kill on the DayToRemeber.
Relieves a bit of pressure, as we were talking about. He's a level down right now, Wowy against DayToRemeber, but the purple buff will help him out a little bit and gain some of that experience right now. And meanwhile, the right-hand side, you see the aggression towards the blue buff from Noble. It was sort of a head fake more than anything else, if anything. Another basketball reference. Look at me,
Look
Look at you. Basketball, but it was a head fake. It was like, hey, we're looking at the blue buff. We're not really. We're ganking your duo lane, and you don't know what's going on.
And whenever you are consistently at your enemy's buffs, you condition them to be early, and it opens up that opposite side of the map. We see it all the time. If a team is consistently invading speed buff, they do it for the first few rotations, and then they go and try and attack the Gold Fury because they assume the over response will be there, and that's exactly what it was. NeiruMah was there, Veneneu was there, everyone outside of DayToRemeber, but Chapo, he had snuck over to that left-hand side, grabbing both relics out of the Hunter.
Didn't work out well enough for the kill though, but relics very important around a Gold Fury, which is being not attempted right now. It's more the Oracles, which are now in control of Neilmah. A little bit late to that was Wowy to recognize the DayToRemeber could have done it, but we might have a fight in mid. Tell a lie, Wubbn just got shot.
Yeah, a lot of damage already coming out of Veneneu. He's got the pen boots online now, so that mobility is no longer an issue, and he's got that fully stacked Doom Orb. That pull was close from NeiruMah. Very, very close there.
However, that Phyllis was even closer onto Uzzy, but I think Kiki's going to be very, very careful here at the moment because elchapoo is on this side as well. Bit respect for the rotations coming out from Neilmah around to that right as well from the mid-Harpy area. So both teams back away, go back to farming once more.
And that's exactly what you expect to see at this stage because there isn't a whole lot to be taken across the map. A couple buffs up on this left-hand side, but the Oracles are down. No team's ahead enough to try and attempt a Gold Fury, and so you just have to just play it out and wait for your opponent to make a mistake.
Well, the relics are starting to come through now for the level 12 as well. I'm keeping an eye on stealth here, and we see, hang on. 1 second, right inside. I was just thinking if Chapo was going to dive in for Kiki then on the right. I just saw it on the mini-map for a second, but instead, let's have a look at Skeeledon trying to gank Wowy over here. Silence doesn't find a home.
Passes right underneath it.
I like this. I like the Death Scythe at the end there, just looking to see if he can get that one shot. Bit of luck there overall, but going back to New War, MLC Stealth, Ethereal Staff. We've seen a few times of this today. Why are we seeing it?
He does that percent health, but really it's about the 90 magical power you get with it, 200 HP as well. It's a little bit more on the expensive side, but it's certainly not, you know, a Soul Reaver or a Rod of Tahuti or anything along those lines. And it's just a good amount of damage while also giving you a little bit of tankiness to deal with the CC chains as well. You get some CCR.
Oh, CCR, that does come into handy now and again, especially, I guess, when you're against the likes of, you know, Terra, the stun from Thanatos as well can be quite impactful as well as Impales. Gold Fury
roots
being looked at by NeiruMah now. Wubbn just buying a bit of time for his team to try and locate their position, as ward wars were really what was going down there for the time being. Stealth can now join his team after clearing out mid.
Just look at all the ward coverage here from Neilmah in this left side jungle.
Too.
Yeah, they're all sentries. You can see clear vision dominance here. Chapo, he's going to go back to base. He's going to need to buy one of those sentries to try and keep up that vision pressure on left. And Uzzy actually rotated after taking that tier 1 tower and stole away the enemy back camps. And it doesn't seem like a whole lot, but anything that you can do to continue to push that lead in the solo lane ends up being very, very impactful. It's not just the, you know, 80 gold or whatever it is that you grab from back camps. It's also the fact that you're taking away that amount of gold from your opposition.
Wind Demon completed for DayToRemeber as he heads back to base. This one tower does fall down on the right after a little while as he's done good work onto Kiki overall, thanks to the support Chapo has set up for him. Neither of the junglers are really any different in terms of experience overall. Both sat at level 12 right now. However, crit is starting to come online for this Serqet.
Yeah, not going for the Heartseeker, not going for any sort of hi-rez Lament, going directly into the crit, trying to make it happen with the burst damage, and it's going to be the Deathbringer, I imagine. Could be Malice as well, both very, very similar in terms of DPS numbers, but Deathbringer, the one you usually see the junglers go for.
For now, the left-hand Harpies are about to spawn, but once again, the Oracle's being fought over on the left-hand side once more. Looks like Neilmah will get pressure onto those and be able to secure both of them before any contest happens. I don't know, but Chapo was sneaking around the corner. They got some pretty good damage off, to be fair, with just that little kiss.
Yeah, very, very good damage from Chapo in that scenario, and the Oracles do go the way of Neilmah, however, and so that's some uncounterable vision on that Gold Fury. Wowy was backing on the ward.
On a ward, yeah, that was the key there. It was on the ward, so they know he wants to return to base, and that's the call from Neilmah to go, 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 go. Try and start this Gold Fury up and force him to stay, but he's already gone back to base. Here's a teleport in for Uzzy as well as the ultimate from NeiruMah goes down.
Oh, so much damage on NeiruMah right away. The Thanatos, he's up at this guy, but he misses the execute. There's the ultimate from NeiruMah getting very low with the last breath. Not going to do quite enough damage. Uzzy, he's on the back line where Kiki, he's diving still.
Stealth needs help. Stealth needs a lot of help, and Wubbn can't do anything about it, but Wowy might be able to. He sneaks away in the fog to live to fight another day as NeiruMah on the other side is still alive as well. Skeeledon is being dealt with by Uzzy for a second, but Uzzy gets impaled back by DayToRemeber. I tell you what,
the Uzzy, shield!
The Geth will keep him alive, not for long though.
There's the Dark Portal opened up. I'm a Monster off the mark there from Veneneu. Wowy, he's swinging, he finds DayToRemeber. Kiki finally able to pick up Wowy with a crit from Wowy, finds Veneneu in the jungle.
And then comes Chapo with the hot time blink. In under the tower, he goes onto NeiruMah as well. Change of plan, though, coming out there. Multiple casualties of war.
Wow.
And the Gold Fury is in a potential spot for Noble to take. Wowy crit to high heaven there.
My man,
I was just saying, Hunters haven't really done much, and then boom.
My man's thanking RNGesus right now with the double crit there just between the Wind Demon and the Poison Star. He's swinging on Kiki in the blue buff, turns and sees Veneneu there and just 500 damage right around it with 2 autos. And that back opened, the back by Veneneu, or excuse me, by Wowy, opened up that opportunity for Neilmah to really try and press that Gold Fury fight, but it was clearly worth it because he finished the entire Wind Demon and made great use of it coming back from base.
That's a very good point overall. That's what they were trying to do, Neilmah. He's trying to stop Wowy from backing for the extra crit item. In the end, it came into play after all. NeiruMah is trying to defend against this Portal Demon. It's going to take a little while to do with those targets on it right now. 3 members here from Neilmah to defend, 2 more on the way from mid, and Noble seemed to recognize what's up and like, you know what, let's dip out of this and fall back.
And Uzzy bought so much time in that last team fight. Oh, Portal Demon started up this time by Neilmah. They've got a little bit of sustain thanks to the Sylvanus heals. Kiki taking it up. Uzzy looking around the backside. Skeeledon looking to pick someone coming in from the rotation. There's the Cataclysm. Portal Demon goes the way of Neilmah, but Uzzy, he's in the back line.
Good ult by NeiruMah. There's an I'm a monster too. Wowy's in trouble. Still alive thanks to an Aegis as stealth goes to the sky. The dunk from Thanatos was good, but not good enough. Veneneu picks it up with a crush. Dipping out is Wubbn at the back and still looking for Uzzy, who's fine on the front side here. Uzzy has Big Baby available, but the Desert Fury rains through. Not enough to kill as Wubbn came in to support. Chapo cleans up Veneneu.
He finds him in the jungle. Now he's looking into NeiruMah, the big Deathsbane, trying to get that damage. Spread out with the silence. It's perfect from Skeeledon.
Big shield, big stun from Stealth on top. Aegis force from Skeeledon. He's having to run away too. Uzzy's 1 hit from death. Really want the kill at the moment. They do, but they're all so low in health. The Wisp will come into play, and the root is good enough from NeiruMah to pick up Stealth as well.
The nice knock up there from Uzzy to get him out of danger from Kiki. No ultimate for him, but the blink is there. There's the blink. There's the power cleave, and the Fearless to finish him off. Kiki picks up Uzzy.
Get soloed.
Soloed, yeah, that counts.
Yeah, Kappa.
You know what?
It was long enough that he was out of combat long enough that technically is a solo, right?
I mean, I suppose so. With Meerkat back, I was really hoping he'd get a solo kill.
Yeah,
just for Twitch chat.
That'd have been so good. Just so they could spam it a little bit more. 97 though on the scorecards, and the speed buff was stolen away on this right-hand side there by Skeeledon coming in. Back to an even game once more. 800 experience is nothing at 20 minutes in.
Neither is 126 gold. I mean, it's super even between these two teams, and that's what you expect whenever they're in a tiebreaker situation like this. Remember, if Neilmah wins this game, they are moving on to the spring split of the SPL. If Noble wins, they've got a chance to control their own destiny. Up against Cope is the problem.
I love the fact that in this game, it's all on the line. Instead of looking for objectives, which is very important, objectives overall, you know, positional advantage, we just get a good old Smite scrap, you know? These guys are just giving it all. These 5-on-5 fights are absolutely crazy, and it's just good Smite to watch.
It really is. Both teams playing very well. Skeeledon 3-0-4 right now on this Thanatos. He's completed that Heartseeker. It's a big power spike for him. Kiki was looking around the back side, but the ward spots him out.
The ward was there just in time to make sure there was no real pressure there. NeiruMah in mid, looking for a cheeky pull on stealth if he could find it. As Chapo is round on the right-hand side here, de-warding as well to make sure Neilmah don't know what's up. As Uzzy is round the back here at the moment as well.
Uzzy just trying to get in there and make the difference. He's finished off Gladiator's shield a little bit later than we've seen this most of the time for these solo laners. Usually they're picking up second item to give them a little bit more sustain in lane, but Uzzy, he's just trying to use it to be a little bit more impactful on these team fights.
The clay minions leading them in. They're looking for the tier 1 tower pressure. Wowy's getting some good damage up round the corner though. Keep an eye on that Thanatos.
There it is. The knockup with the Dust Sight misses it. There's the last breath. Immediately on the Skeeledon, he goes up into the sky. The I'm a monster chokes down Wowy, but the new ultimate picks up 2.
And Uzzy just tags the tower like a beast on the front line as well. Tier 1 falls. March on, go Noble towards the tier 2 of Neilmah. Only 3 members strong, 1 ultimate available, but no, Noble don't want to continue at the tier 2. They're going to head towards left-hand side and look for more pressure there.
And that's just, again, Skeeledon coming around the backside, just gets CC chained immediately. A little bit of an unfortunate scenario there because his Death Sight actually went underneath Wowy because of the Sylvanus ultimate. It really feels bad.
does feel bad, but sometimes you just got to know about the communication and make sure it's correct. But lucky, get out of jail free card there for Noble in one way, and then Stealth, with one of the hardest skill shots in the game, secures 2 kills.
He looked down at his keyboard, he saw the 4 key, it was ready, he pressed it, and then he left-clicked. And he got 2 kills.
Not forehead, no? That's
Forehead.
you, right?
Have you heard about that?
Pretty much.
That they're replacing the forehead emote with my face?
I heard about that.
Yeah, I'm really happy. I can't wait.
At least you get something in the world that people will recognize you for.
It's true. I'm gonna be Twitch famous.
Well, to be fair, if Chapo does make it to the SPL at any point, then you'd be like, hey, I teamed with him once.
It's true.
It's the same way Adonis used to cast. Adonis was like, I teamed with Snoopy once.
Yeah,
it's like nobody cares about has-beens.
Adonis teamed with Snoopy back in like 2008.
Yeah, and you teamed with Chapo like a year and a half ago. Yeah, it's a long time now. Smite's a different game. Gold Fury started up by Noble here, down to half health. Kiki on his way with the tier. NeiruMah trying to close the gap and slow them down. Lawbringer over the wall. Fearless power cleave onto Wowy. Thanatos in the sky will pick up NeiruMah once more, so I should say that was down to Stealth picking that one up. This wasn't good.
There's the Sanctuary just trying to buy him a little bit of time. The slow from Wowy is on point, but the great root from Veneneu buys him a little bit of space. Kiki, he's in, he's stunned. There's the Bulwark of Hope. He's trying to get over the wall, but no Lawbringer. Wowy still looking for him. Goes underneath.
Big, and Veneneu walks into it as well. Crits for days, but not enough for a kill yet. Stealth gonna go through the tower. Stealth gets reinforced as ages, but he does pick up Kiki at least.
There it is. There's 2 dead for Neilmah. 11-9, the kill lead in Noble's favor. Gold Fury still stands. They're up about a little underneath 3,000 gold, but that experience difference started to make it work for Noble.
Back to the Gold Fury, go Noble. Chap on the right-hand side, recognizing there's 2 targets here. Neilmah have to surrender this Gold Fury. DayToRemeber, though, may find Chapo here, but luckily enough, ambush was up.
And that's just the mobility of Serqet making it easy for him. And Chapo was looking to hunt out some relics in the middle lane from Veneneu, but was just able to juke out those Serqet madness shots. Now the gold lead up over 4,500 gold in Noble's favor. Neilmah, they need to win this game.
They need to win this game for sure, just to make sure they guarantee themselves the SPL spot. It won't be over for them, though, if Noble win. Noble will still have to beat Cope after this to make sure they take the spot instead. And if not, we'll just keep going all night, boys and girls. Let's just keep it going.
At this point,
Smite's
at this point, what does it matter, you know? You just cast Smite all night, you watch Smite all night, you play Smite all night, like, let's just do it.
And if this isn't enough for you today, boys and girls, remember tomorrow, Monday, it's Sunday today still technically, we still have more Smite action coming at you.
Oh, we sure do.
We'll be back on the pipes one more time in F-Dot for sure to bring you some hot EU Xbox action at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But for now, the game's still going.
And Chapo, level 16, 2-2-5. He's got that Deathbringer completed now, looking like what could be a Brothers Beat Stick, could be a Titan's Bane as well. Could be a Crusher, but I doubt we'll see that out of him.
Round the back is Skeeledon here. I don't think they spotted him out, and now he's going to come in and get a good scythe off onto Wowy, and then walk away again. Did his work on Neilmah. Wowy was way too deep, and he met his maker.
Now Skeeledon up into the sky. May look to re-engage on his stealth, and he does. There's the up and the down. Kiki, he's up over the top with the Fearless, but the silence by stealth a little bit of time. Chapo erased by DayToRemeber.
The monster was big, but not big enough to pick up Wowy. He gets away. Uzzy on the front line. No attack. NeiruMah's dot damage is enough. A huge fight for Neilmah now. They can fall back towards the Fire Giant. Uzzy looking to contest and slow them down if he can. He's a little bit worried as he's on his own.
Again, just the miscommunication for Noble comes back to bite them, this time in a big way. Wubbn way too far forward. Tries to get the Cataclysm, gets one off, but with 0 follow-up available to him. The rest of the team still hanging around the Portal Demon, and as a result, 3 fall for Noble. Gold difference still in their favor, but it's getting closer. In fact, it's close enough that Neilmah feels confident enough to start this Fire Giant.
They're still 2 dead right now, so yes, go for the Fire Giant right now. Kiki on zone duty, trying to deal with Uzzy. Remember, Uzzy has no ultimate. The Frenzy is blocked from the ritual, but Kiki's taking a lot of poke too. Fire Giant, the way of Neilmah. Uzzy under pressure, he's forced back too. Neilmah answer back in the mid-game.
Wow, that Frenzy pickup was huge. I don't know exactly who bought it on the side of Neilmah, but it gave them enough DPS to make sure they had the damage to secure that Fire Giant. And I mean, like we talked about it earlier, on the side of Noble, there isn't a whole lot of objective secure. NeiruMah not as good as most mages at objective securing. Uzzy's abilities not going to do the majority of the damage. Really, it's Dark Portal is the best option for Noble to secure or steal away an objective. And Wowy was still respawning and coming back from base. 5 members of Neilmah with this Fire Giant. This gold lead now completely irrelevant for Noble. Neilmah, the one with the momentum.
And when you look at that gold lead of 2,000 in favor of Noble right now, once these tier 1 towers get chipped down, which is what's going to happen against a Fire Giant team, well, there's 1,500 gold for those 3 total, going the way to even things back up before they even look towards the tier 2 towers.
I expect that Noble's going to give up the tier 1s and defend the tier 2s. There's no reason to give up 1,500 gold to the opposition at this stage in the game, but the 500, you can probably afford to let that go.
Bit of a difference in builds coming out from the Hunters again. We saw the crit trees coming out with the Titan's Bane that we used to. However, Wowy does now have this Fatalis online, whereas his opposition, DayToRemeber, going for further crit, as well as an Assy to help with the lifesteal. So it's sustain versus mobility between the 2 Hunters.
And just so quick with these auto attacks is going to be Wowy. He just has that Fatalis, and then that additional attack speed Sarah on top of that, so potent. I mean, he's going to be swinging.
First tier 1 tower does fall in the mid lane. Continuing to pressure his Neilmah for now, but we're expecting a defense at tier 2. They will just take the gold on the left. They're playing this very carefully overall aggro, and I guess they kind of have to do this.
Yeah, Gold Fury is going to be up in 45 seconds, so they can take their time and knock down this tier 1 tower and then take the Gold Fury. And that's going to be difficult for Noble to fight into because it is away from their towers. All 5 members of Neilmah have that Fire Giant, and that's a great spot for Neilmah to try and bait them in, try and get them into that Gold Fury pit and take the fight there with that buff.
And with the fights we've seen so far, they've gone back and forth for the most part. Stealth's big ultimates have come into play.
Yeah.
Wubbn getting picked up at the start of that engagement around that before the Fire Giant and Portal Demon went down was a big play because without that Geb, they've not got as much protection in the back line.
Those Geb shields have been on point from Wubbn so far, and that's the real first misstep we've seen, but it cost Noble a whole lot. 3 kills and a Fire Giant to all 5 members of Neilmah. But every team fight that it's been 5v5 where Wubbn hasn't suicided, Noble's won. So as long as Wubbn can stay in the right position and the rest of the team, maybe that isn't on Wubbn, maybe that's on everyone else. The other 4, you can't really assume, then they can come up and follow up off that Cataclysm. Then Noble has a really good chance to still fight into this Fire Giant, but they have to be more cohesive as a unit.
While we're in the pause as well, I was going to give a shout out to all the players who've been playing today as well. It's been a hell of a long day for them. And still to compete at this high level, the way they're playing, there's not many real mistakes going on. It's small calculation errors. The mechanics are fantastic.
Honestly,
today.
the mechanics are better now than they were at the beginning of the day. That's the way I see it.
But they're warmed up now as well. That's a big key.
Very, very much so. They've got plenty of time to get ready into this. And Chapo, he's lurking in the jungle, waiting for Neilmah to push up into this tier 2. But again, that Gold Fury up in 20 seconds, that could be the call.
That ward gives away where Chapo is, though. And they recognize it, Neilmah, that he could be over that side. So Kiki goes, walks up to him and goes, listen, chaps, I know your plan, but calm down, son.
Back it
Pull
up.
in mid lane, no, and Uzzy goes for a wild ride there. Immediately has to disengage. Good shield from Wubbn to help him out a bit, but now that shield's on cooldown.
NeiruMah, he's going in. He finds 2 with that knockup. Wubbn,
Counter
the
engage.
4-man Cataclysm. Dark Portal opened up underneath NeiruMah. He's so low. Uzzy can't quite find the damage. Skeeledon, he's up into the sky. There's the Nuwa ultimate. Gonna get NeiruMah very, very low. Chapo still lurking in the jungle, but the defense still strong from Noble.
Chapo is still full health, full mana, still has his relics available to him as well. Didn't manage to get involved in that fight by how hard Kiki works. If Chapo was there, could have been a different story, so that's going to give a lot of credit to Kiki there.
Absolutely, but on the other hand, you got to give credit to Chapo because if Kiki was there, then maybe that goes.
Well. It's true.
There's definitely exactly. There's positives and negatives for both teams. Gold Fury does go the way of Neilmah. That's evening up this game, giving them the gold lead.
If that fog had killed that Gold Fury, I think I was done. The fog that Stealth just threw out there, the Gold Fury, if that would have took the Gold Fury, I think that would have been the end of the day.
Honestly, he's level 20, and max rank fog does a lot of damage.
It could, and it's a lot of free damage as well that's just going to continue to take away, especially when
that
you've
would
got
have been,
secure.
Oh man, that would be only fitting. Oh, blink onto MLC Stealth by Kiki. He's going to find the Fearless, the Purification, going to save his life. Wubbn here to give him the shield, but Chapo, or no, it's Uzzy.
Who's Uzzy?
Where did he go?
Dead. Kiki looking towards Wowy right now, but Wowy's going to get away for now. Skeeledon taking the tower. Cataclysm big for Wubbn, and DayToRemeber got exploded by Stealth. Looking for the cleanup with the shiny The poison spread to multiple targets. They're all running. Tails between the legs right now. Every man for himself. Get out, because the boys of Noble can chase them down here.
Stealth still looking for it. Chapo dashes forward. There's the up, the down, but the I'm a monster. Finish finishes off Chapo. Veneneu turns it around.
What a great play from Veneneu and Skeeledon as well to turn that on its head. Chapo was in deep then, but the ult from Skeeledon combined with telling Veneneu to turn around 180 and ult was absolutely huge to slow down what Noble could have done there.
This game so back and forth already 30 minutes into this one. And a lot of the games have felt a little bit slower today, Hindu, but not this one. I cannot believe it's already 30 minutes.
The pace has just been at a decent level. Normally the tempo of these games goes up and down, like waves basically in an ocean. This one's different though. This one's just been at max tilt since minute one.
That's because Oceans is on Allegiance and they aren't in Relegations.
You think you're funny and you're not.
That's just not true. I think I am funny, but
F-Dot's funnier than you.
That's brutally mean.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help that one. Portal Demon has started up here, down to half health already. Uzzy on zone duty. Neilmah have to give this one up, obviously. That last engagement really hurt them and gives a small power play to Noble around the Fire Giant for the next few minutes.
And just going to be able to use that teleporter to try and maybe make up siege in the middle lane on the right-hand side, try and get some poke onto the tower or onto the opposition, and then use that portal as kind of the plan B. If things go poorly, you can back up, immediately teleport in.
God, this game's so good that you see all the tier 2 towers still stand. Like at 30 minutes, all the tier 2 towers stand, and it's not
we still got some time on this one.
A farm game or an objective control game. It's actually been pure awesome brawls with individual plays. Both these teams are really showing that they deserve to be in the Pro League. Just a shame that only one of them can make it right now.
And that really speaks to the level of play that In Memory of Gabe and Enemy had today, already guaranteeing their spots. These are the two teams in the relegation, and they're in the tiebreakers.
Fire Giant started up for a second, trying to draw in Neilmah here from Noble. Let's see if they got a response at least. Stealth throughout the fog and the clay minions looking for Skeeledon, but he just backpedals for now. This portal will fall down very, very soon at the moment, so the time of the Portal Demon is at an end.
Oh, that's a brutal timing there for Chapo. Backs and right as the portal expires. So it's going to take him a little bit longer to get here, though it isn't too bad as he has that very, very mobile Serqet. You can see multiple spectral armors picked up by here by Neilmah, and that is excellent up against Serqet because it completely nullifies her combo. She hits you with the madness, and she's immediately feared away. However, Wowy's job is now to proc those spectral armors from a distance.
With those auto attacks that penetrate through targets and come back as well, multiple chances to proc that fear ahead of time.
And it's a 90-second internal cooldown on that item as well, so if you can get it, that's a big window of opportunity for Chapo to continue his aggression on Serqet.
Well, all the relics are slowly coming back up. Blink is available for everybody. Teleport available for both the solo laners as well. Fire Giant started by Noble, but it's not going to be leashed for long. Wubbn doesn't get it what he really wanted with that Cataclysm, only onto Kiki, and Kiki's happy to walk away. Same can be said, I guess, for Veneneu with that combo there. Just didn't find a home.
But that ultimate is a big one because Wubbn's been able to find some excellent Cataclysms during the course of this game. He doesn't have to blink, though, so he has had to kind of walk up to the opposition like we saw there, instead electing for the shell and the meditation to make sure that his team is as healthy as possible.
It's such a good look for Season 4 right now if the players are playing like this. If they do this for the rest of the year, you could be in for a long one, boys and girls. Some exciting games for the rest of the year to come right now. Dance is as it always is, though. Even with a Portal Demon on the side of the map, the dance still continues.
Always.
Of who's going to make the mistake at this critical moment in the game, because the respawns get longer, the damage increases, and the mistakes are punished way, way harder.
33 minutes in. It's, for all intents and purposes, this game is even. I mean, this gold lead for NeiruMah and the rest of Neilmah is incredibly small.
I mean, it is even.
600. Yeah,
600
this game is even right now between Noble and Neilmah.
Look at the net worth on your screen there as well. You can just see how everybody is matched up overall. A little bit of a lead in terms of gold for DayToRemeber since the start, but Stealth's right on his heels as well. Wubbn walks forward, Cataclysms too, looks towards Skeely, knock up there is good. Skeely walks away and Noble reposition, not really in a position to follow up.
All of Neilmah is just not respecting these Cataclysms anymore because the follow-up hasn't been there, and that just isn't the right time necessarily for Wubbn to use that ultimate.
But then again, if Noble just take that one moment where they do initiate off it, then I don't think Neilmah will respect it that time. That could come back to haunt them.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a risk reward there, but he finds two with that Cataclysm and no purifications used.
Experience still important to a couple of people here. You can see Chapo is level 19. If he can hit level 20 here, it will increase the amount of damage he can do with his ultimate. Same can be said for the Lawbringer and as well for Vamana.
Exactly. Just trying to get a little bit of extra tankiness in that big baby sprint pop. NeiruMah, he wants to go in there looking at Uzzy, the two-man silence, but the ultimate is off the mark there from NeiruMah.
Chapo around the back was looking at Veneneu, and they all try and collapse to pick up Chapo. Desert Fury
Nice
is
shield.
good, but a great shield from Wubbn. Blink Fearless missing from Kiki as DayToRemeber's out of position now. The silence was good from Wowy, and fall back to NeiruMah now, trying to relocate back to safety.
But there goes Stealth up into the ultimate. There's the Cataclysm. He picks up DayToRemeber. NeiruMah next on the list, just shredding through him with that Izanami.
And there is 2 quick picks the way of Neilmah now. Obviously, the ultimate from Stealth was very important to secure DayToRemeber, and NeiruMah just got ran down straight after that one. Now the Fire Giant started. Kiki's back. No blink available. Has, though, his Lordbringer up. He has to defend this, waiting for Veneneu, who's following up. I'm a Monster is up here as well.
Oh, he's looking for it, but the crush off the mark. Instead tries to kill Chapo with that crush. I guess the call was to give up that Fire Giant, because otherwise, I mean, with the 2 ultimates there, I'm very surprised not to see them go in, especially with how low Stealth and Chapo are. A little bit gun shy there from Neilmah.
Critical moment for Noble there to get this Fire Giant, but with the minion wave pushing mid, Neilmah can answer back with a tier 2 tower. Just to look at the waves as well, with the Fire Giant being on the side of 5 members of Noble, it's going to take him a little bit of a time to get to these tier 2 towers in response here though, aggro, and start to siege them down before the respawns come through. But they're nearly over anyway.
Exactly. So DayToRemeber, he's up and ready to go right now, and he's full build. He's got the Deathbringer. He's finished off both of his Shurikens. He's got a lot of penetration along with it. The Titan's Bane, the Aussie on top of that. So you know that that late game Anhur is going to be swinging very, very hard.
I'll tell you what, we call it about hi-rez hours. We're in ritual hours right about now. Just keep an eye on those consumables tabs, because this is where we expect to see rituals used more and more as the game goes on, looking to reposition, help each other out, get back to the fight quicker, or just increase the monumental amount of damage some of these carries can do.
So in previous seasons, 36-minute Gold Furies, whatever, who really cares? But now with rituals being in the game and those being so expensive, even that 380 gold boost is very, very helpful to make sure you can get as many of those rituals as possible.
It's not just wards you need at the late game now, it's rituals and wards. You've got to make sure
and power potions. I mean, you got plenty of options.
Stack them up. I'm talking about stacking up. Noble stacks up a nice wave in mid with those clay minions as well to bring down the tier 2. They're going to take it safely and go for the tier 2 towards the left-hand side. Pretty much standard Smite play so far. The question is, will Neilmah look to defend this tier 2?
I don't know. I mean, it does give, again, Noble some gold towards those rituals, but they need these narrow corridors by the Phoenix and just giving them a little bit of extra room to chase down if they start to win the engagement. Instead, Neilmah, they're going to give up these towers, allow Noble to take them down, only interested in defending the Phoenixes.
The big key there as well is the clay minions, removing backdoor protections as well, being very, very useful for stealth, to not have to push these minion waves in, for Noble not to have to waste their time so much overall here. The wall placed down by Neilmah, just giving vision that speed buff being taken. It looks like they're going to be around the tier 2 on right, not looking to defend it, happy to surrender it for now.
And that's going to be a lot of gold, 4,500 in total after taking down all 3 tier 2s, but Noble, I don't know if they want to push this Phoenix. Wubbn looks like he wants to, but no one else does. And that seems to be the story of the game. Yeah.
Chapo wants minions on the right-hand side there to come along with them. And rightfully so. Yeah, you can backdoor the tier 2s, but you really need the minions with you. The clay minions won't do enough because you want to use them for damage, for control with the stun in the team fights.
Ooh, Uzzy going to take a good amount of poke, except for the Geb shield there from Wubbn. Nicely timed, and that's what we've come to expect out of his Geb play.
And you can see how much little damage Uzzy took there. That should have been a hell of a lot more with the build the Veneneu has online with that Scylla right now. Shield did a lot of work there, and still Noble sieging up here. A couple of minions on their way now. Don't forget the clay minions too can help them out looking for this Phoenix.
And there is a ward there in the jungle, so Chapo can't just hang out and wait for the chase to happen. On the side of Neilmah, no blink on Sylvanus, though we do see a flickering ritual on Skeeledon. He's got that combat blink in his ritual.
There's a ritual frenzy straight away, and Wubbn walks right in. Cancel that. Chapo blinks to the back. Aegis gets out as well just in time. The Phoenix is being shredded right now. Uzzy taking the backside of Skeeledon does take out Chapo's life for the time being. Still though, Neilmah fall back, and only a Phoenix falls in trade for Chapo here.
Skeeledon still looking to get a little bit of damage on MLC Stealth, and he will, but not a whole lot. Right Phoenix falls in exchange for Chapo's life. Skeeledon needs to be a little bit careful, though he does have that flickering ritual still available to get out of any potential danger. Unfortunately there, and you know what makes that happen is the spectral armor really hurts Chapo in that scenario. Goes in, gets the blink onto Veneneu, forces out his purification instantly, and then just gets feared away. Has to use his purification, but he'd already taken so much damage by that point that he was in execute range, and Skeeledon on the mark with that hovering death.
Well, Neilmah trying to siege down right-hand side here. Obviously, they've got 5 minions to deal with. Try and take a tier 1 maybe. They've got a bit of a moment in momentum here, but Chapo being dead for the next 20 seconds. No one on the side of Noble really in range now. Keep an eye on that frenzy in the inventory one more time of Wubbn here from that ritual position.
Yeah, and now he's got that finished off. 3 flickering rituals on other members of Noble. You got NeiruMah, you've got Serqet, and you've got Izanami, all with that ability to either blink engage or blink disengage. And I also love this last item selection for Wubbn in this Stone of Binding. Anytime he CCs anyone, everyone in the area gets a penetration buff, just helping out to follow up off those cataclysms, off those knockups.
Now I want to apologize ahead of time for the next team fight cast, because I'm pretty sure everyone's going to be ping-ponging everywhere with these combat
this is
links
the first time.
to them. So this is the first time we've had to deal with this. We'll see how it goes on the next team fight, that's for sure. It's going to be an exciting barn burner. I'm excited about this one.
It's really going to be. It's going to be tough, but we're gonna do our best here. Skeeledon up into the sky very, very early on. Fire Giant still around 50% HP. Realizes his mistake and goes back down towards the speed.
Not a terrible ultimate though, just to slow them down for a second, but the Fire Giant is being looked at again here. Stealth baiting it a little bit, but he does still have aggro for the time being. Chapo once again off to the left. His relics are still coming up. This is what Noble are waiting for. They need Chapo to have his beads to get away if he needs them.
And he's got him now, looking, riding around the backside, but Uzzy, he gets Fearless Frenzy, is popped by Wubbn, finds a 3-man Cataclysm. Skeeledon getting low already, uses the Aegis, NeiruMah up into the sky. Meanwhile, Uzzy, he's on the backside, NeiruMah falling very low. DayToRemeber, the first to fall. Chapo chasing down this Sylvanus.
And they're looking for more as well. NeiruMah is going to fall on the right, it's on the left. Wowy is chasing down Kiki. Kiki trying to juke out to stay alive. Veneneu falls back to base. Skeeledon and Veneneu, the last 2 standing on Neilmah here. Neilmah had the opportunity to close down and get himself to the Pro League right now, but Noble may just make it another game. Cope still have a shot as well based off this.
Veneneu does have ultimate here. He's got that I'm a Monster, and this is the moment that you draft Scylla for. These game-changing capabilities of this ult.
No mistakes from Noble. Oh, let's get all 3 Phoenixes just in case Veneneu does make the wonder play he needs to do here. Skeeledon is here with him as well. I'm a Monster. It whiffs. Deleted. Noble will win this game now. Noble will keep the Tiebreaker's hopes alive. Neilmah now have to watch Noble face off against Cope and hope to high heaven Cope can make it happen.
I mean, Noble, they need to find this win. Cope, they need to find it if they want to keep their hopes and Neilmah's hopes alive. Unbelievable. I mean, we said from the very get-go, Hindu, this was going to be a close day, going to be close to determine who the top 3 teams in this relegation process are. We have 3 tiebreaker games to try and figure it out.
It doesn't get much closer than this in the world of Smite, let's be honest. And now